Hello my answer seekers and welcome to today's video. Today I'm gonna tell you how I manifested my soulmate into my reality so you can do it too. And I'm also gonna put timestamps in the comments so you can find the part of the video that interests you the most. Or if you're new to manifestation in general or new on your path to manifesting your soulmate into your three-dimensional reality, you can enjoy the entire video. There's nothing wrong with that. That's what it's here for. So feel free to do that. And as always, you know me, I wrote down some notes in this journal, which I just recently published. It's the Plot Your Life journal by Valithera. I also have the link in the video description. And it also has the same Norse rune here as on my finger, because I love to have a reminder on my body. I just use waterproof eyeliner to do that. It's the same that I use for my eyes. I just love to have a reminder that I'm the creator of my own reality. So that's also why I used it on the book, because I feel like we all need a reminder someday. So yeah, let's get started in this video. And yeah, I'm gonna start right into it. This is gonna be a plotted ramble because you know me, I love to ramble. I could talk about manifestation for hours and hours. That was initially also the main reason why I started this YouTube channel. So yeah, here we go. Okay, the first step in my soulmate connection was writing a list. And it was a very detailed list. I'm not gonna lie, until I figured out who I really was and what kind of person matches my version for myself the most, it took about 3 of those lists. And every single time, it's kind of the same as with vision boards for me. Every single time that I create a new one, it's so much more specific. It's never a complete different thing. It's never a complete different style. It's always completely aligned with the one that I had before, just a lot more detailed. It's a lot more me. So take your time, take a pen and a piece of paper out, or use your notes app. That's what I usually do. I have an entire folder in my notes app just for manifestations, because I love scripting, I love writing things down and just keep it there. So that's what I did. I wrote down exactly in details a list of my soulmate. And I wrote down, I'm gonna quote myself right now, let the delusion win for a moment. Because just think about it, there's so many people on this earth. Do you really think you cannot have a specific person? Do you really think you cannot meet your soulmate that matches you entirely perfect? Well, I believe that. We're gonna get back to that because the subconscious belief system is a very important part in this journey. So we're getting back to that. But what I did was I wrote down a list of everything I could think of in a person. So just to give you a couple examples, how he is as a person. I'm gonna say he right now because my soulmate is a man. Just insert whatever gender you're in. So how he is, how he looks like. Be specific. What do you want? What do you like? How do you want him to look like? How he acts and behaves. And now there comes a very important part, how he acts and behaves towards you and others, because usually people tend to act differently when they're around their friends, when they're around their family, and when they're around you. So it makes sense to write all of those 3 categories down and then know how he acts, how he behaves, what kind of manners does he have. Does he know how to behave in public, for example, right? So then, how well he treats me, or you in this case. What does he do for you? And the last thing is, what does he do in a day? His job, his hobbies, interests, his future vision of himself and his life. What are his goals in life? What does he work towards? What is his ambition in life? And what do you do together? What do you do in your quality time together? How do you like to spend your days together? How does he integrate you into his life? And vice versa, how do you integrate him into your life? So, once I had that list, and I'm just gonna say that list was long. It was, I think it was at that point a 16 pages long page in the Notes app. So I don't know how big that list would be if I had it in like usual A4 format, but that list is long. I get why people call this woo-woo or delusional, because unless you actually experience this in life, it seems like it is woo-woo, actually. But right now I just can't tell you it's true. It actually works, and that's why I'm sharing that with you. Just thinking about it makes me burst with joy, because I keep thinking about him. I'm like, yeah, I would actually like to ramble to him about this right now. Okay, let's get back to the topic. So, that list, right? I wrote it down and I just let it sit there for a moment. I was like readjusting a little bit. I reread it once more and I was like, yeah, that's what I want. That's good. That's the way to go. Coming to step number 2. I connected all of that with emotions, because we all know emotions have frequency. Frequency is what we attract into our life. So I connected all of that with the emotion that I want to feel. So I wrote down how he makes me feel when I'm with him, how I feel when I'm with him naturally without him doing anything, and how I feel when I'm without him. So when we spend time apart in our relationship. And that was also the main point when I realized that he's actually my soulmate. It was the point where I wrote down the main reason why I love to be with him is because I feel safe. I feel so relaxed. I feel so secure. I just can let go and just live my life. I'm just living my best life here, right? The main thing was I feel relaxed. I wrote that down. That was my sign. And if you followed my content on this YouTube channel for a while now, you might know that I sometimes make signs with God and the universe. That if something is meant for me, I'm gonna see the sign, or I'm gonna hear a song with the word, or whatever. So, what I did was, me being relaxed, naturally really relaxed, and I used to live a very stressful life before that. So I didn't really know the feeling of being 100% completely relaxed in a relationship. So what I did was, I said, God, okay, that's a sign. If I feel completely relaxed and I trust that person 100%, he's mine. 100%. And that's what happened, right? So I met him, and the first time we talked, I just felt myself leaning back. I was like, yeah. It was just an entire body, hell yeah. Because it just felt right. There was just so much trust right from the beginning, because he also earned my trust. So it was a path of getting there, but once we actually saw each other in a video call, I should mention that we live pretty far apart, so we met on the internet, and you could say it's pretty coincidental, but I knew where I want to live in my life, so I searched in that area for someone, and then I met him. And the moment that we met, I was like, yeah, that's him, that's my man. So yeah, that was the sign where I knew that's him. And I highly suggest to have a sign like this with God, with the universe, with source, whatever you believe in, however you call it, that you know for sure it's this person. I'm gonna come back to that topic in a second, because that's also something I want to cover in this video. But yeah, so step number 3 is one of the most important things in this entire manifestation process. I wrote the exact same list that I wrote for him for myself. I wrote down, how do I behave? What's my style? My job? My hobbies? My interests? My income? Friends? Family? Everything. What do I do in a day? How do I like to spend my time? What's my purpose? Like, I wrote everything down, literally like my highest self. I wrote everything down. Again, let the delusion win for a moment. Everything's possible. For that list, and also for his list, I completely opened my mind. I was like, okay, if everything is possible for a moment, what do I truly want? If everything is possible right now, what do I truly want? I'm gonna say one more time, because sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to open our minds to the possibilities on Earth, because we tend to forget, because we tend to look at the 3D, at our surroundings, at everything that's going wrong, or everything that's not the way we want it to be, and we believe it's not possible because it's not coming in fast enough. That's bullshit. That's the actual bullshit. So, if everything is possible right now, what do you truly want? That's how you write down that list. Those lists, 2 of them, right? So, and then also, how do I treat him? And how do I make him feel? What's my part in that relationship? Because some people like princess treatment or queen treatment, however you want to call it. There's nothing wrong with that. You can have whatever you want. But you also got to write that down, right? So whatever treatment you want to receive and whatever treatment you want to give in that relationship, you got to write that down. That's important, because that's your relationship dynamic. How do you communicate with your partner? Like, what are your values? Do you want to have children? Do you want to get married? Everything that involves the 2 of you. Do you want to move in with your partner? Where do you want to live in the future? All of those things, you also got to write that down. So, as I said, that's just a couple examples of what I wrote down, but I was so specific. As I said, it was a 14 to 16 pages list. It was a long list. And it covered literally everything that was important for me. So, now there comes the law of detachment. And I hear a lot of people talk about this till this day, because it is phenomenal. I use this law subconsciously in that process. I didn't know about this. I didn't know what it means. I just did it. I just did it because I could, right? Because I believe that all the laws of the universe, we all use them somehow, to some extent, every single day in our day-to-day lives, because it's laws of the universe, right? That's how everything works. That's how everything around us is made of. That's how it all works. So we do use them, but it's subconsciously. You can use it consciously to manifest whatever you want into your life. And that's what I did. I used detachment from that manifestation to get it into my life. And now, the people I see talking about this, not everyone. There are a couple people who get the woo-woo out of all of these laws and actually say what it means and how you can do that. So I'm gonna provide how I did this, and just letting you know that there are many ways to detach from your manifestation. It doesn't have to be this way, right? This is what worked for me. So maybe it's gonna work for you. Maybe you're gonna find a different way or a similar way to detach. But this is how I use the law of detachment to manifest my soulmate. So, first of all, do you remember that sentence, if everything was possible right now, what would I truly want? Yeah? Amazing. So, keeping that in mind, everything now is possible, because you wrote all of this down. it exists in a 5D already. I'm gonna film right after this one a simple manifestation guide on the basics and the methods I use in manifestation. So I'm gonna cover the 5D and the 3D, for example, what it means, what it is, how you can use it for your manifestations. So if you're interested in that, or if you're new to that and you want to learn more about this, I'm gonna link it right here as soon as it's uploaded. And yeah, if you're already familiar with the 3D and the 5D, everything you want is already yours once you think of it, once you actually truly want it. Because I believe for myself, you can't manifest something just because you think of it, like once or twice, because there are so many thoughts crossing your mind every single day. It would be actually delusional to believe that all of them come true, right? But it's a matter of how often you think about it. It's a matter of saturation. That's why it's so important to keep track of what you consume every single day, what you let into your mind, what thoughts you let determine your reality. Because that's what it is in the end. It's actually just what you believe, right? If you believe everything's gonna work out for you and everything's great all the time, you're gonna subconsciously and consciously focus on the good things and on the positive things in your life, and therefore you'll think you'll attract more of the positive, but everything's there at the same time. Everything exists at the same time, the good and the bad. It's just a matter of where you put your focus, right? So there comes the point where your subconscious mind needs or might need some reprogramming. Because for me personally, I didn't believe I could attract my soulmate because I didn't feel worthy enough. Simple as that. I'm gonna be open with you. I didn't feel worthy enough because I felt like I didn't do enough. I wasn't pretty enough. This and that. I compared myself to so many people on the internet. It's everyone these days, right? Who's not doing that? So as soon as I figured out how to reprogram my subconscious mind, and I'm gonna cover that in the next video because that's how I got confident to sit in front of a camera and talk about all the things I love every single time that I want to do it. This game changed for me completely because how I detached from that situation. We're still at that point. I just rambled for a couple minutes, but that's fine. That's what we're here for. How I detached from that manifestation was I literally forgot about that list. I put it in my notes app. I closed the notes app. I forgot about it. I knew it was done because I wrote it down. That's basically the scripting method. I wrote it down in the present tense. It's already done because I want it. I truly want it, so it's mine. In the 5D, it's already mine. I literally spoke it into existence. And with that knowing that it's already mine, it's not on its way to you or to me. It's already yours, or mine in that case, right? I don't wait for my manifestations to come through because I know in the 5D it's already mine. It's just a matter of alignment with your manifestations in the 3D. And the connection between the 5D and the 3D is your subconscious mind and your nervous system, because your nervous system is basically your body's response to everything that happens around you. So if your nervous system is in constant stress mode, it's very hard to constantly vibrate in the frequency of love. And to attract love, you gotta have the frequency of love. And now there comes the point. I detached by focusing completely on myself. So I completely focused on me. And by doing so, I improved my health. I started dressing the way I want. I started speaking the way I want. I started working out. I started loving my body the way it is, and I started loving the progress of getting my dream body and getting my dream hair. I mean, it was, how long was it? I think it was this long when I started that process. And that's been about 5 haircuts and and about 1.5 years ago. So you get what I mean, right? So I totally found me and my inner peace and my inner joy in the process of detaching from the manifestation. So in that process, I became whole without needing anybody else to do that for me. Because so many times I see people trying to manifest their soulmate or their twin flame connection into their life because they don't feel good by themselves. They can't stay alone for a second because they're like, it's so quiet. I need to hear something. Oh my God. I was that way too. I constantly needed some sort of stimulation around me to feel whole in myself. And at this point, I'm genuinely so happy in my life. I'm so content. And I got so stable in myself that I didn't even want to meet a man. And exactly at that point, and I remember when I heard it in videos, like so many people said the exact same story. I didn't believe them. I was like, but if I don't want a man, what's the point in even manifesting that? But exactly the day where I wanted to quit online dating, I met my soulmate. He messaged me first. That was one of the things, because I'm a very outgoing person, right? If I want something, I go get it. That's how I do it. But one of the things on the list, and I'm gonna tell you that in secret right now. I'm conscious this is the internet, that was a joke. So I'm gonna tell you that right now. One of the things on the list that I wrote for him, or about him more precisely, was that he's gonna message me first. Because I'm a very outgoing person. If I want to meet someone, if I want to get into connection with someone, I just reach out to them, because that's how I realized I make the best friends, I make the best business connections. I just reach out to people whenever I feel called to talk to them. I don't question the reason for why I feel that way. I just do it, right? But I wanted my man to show me that he's the outgoing person, that he has true interest in me. And I also wanted some princess treatment, right? Who doesn't want that? So that's what happened. That's what happened. That was the first step of me realizing, yeah, that could work. That could work. And so it did. It did work. Okay, and the last step in that detaching process, I feel like that the last part was a bit all over the place, so I'm just gonna summarize it for you again. I detached by completely focusing on myself, not on the manifestation, not on attracting the man into my life. No, I raised my frequency to the frequency of love by taking care of myself and becoming the version for myself, my highest version, that I wrote down too. Because the love's frequency that you experience in a soulmate connection or in a twin flame connection or in any sort of love connection equals self-love. That's my way of doing that. There are many other ways to get to the frequency of love, to attract love into your life or to attract more love into your life. But what I like to do is just taking care of myself to the best that I can and just feel the best version of myself, to be the best version of myself that I can be. Because I also feel like that provides the most for this world, right? If I'm the most myself, I can do what I came here to do. So I completely focused on myself, and that's how I detached. And that's in the end how I attracted my soulmate, because I didn't need anybody to make me fulfilled in my life, to make me feel whole, to make me feel good. I didn't need anybody to take care of me or even to provide for me, but everything he does is like a cherry on top. It adds some extra value into my life, and my life is already pretty valuable because I made it that way. So this also prevents codependency, which is very important because I've been in so many relationships, or I would prefer to call them situationships, that were some sort of codependent because everyone needed that love or that stimulation or whatever from the other person. It was just a constant need, and that's just not whole. That's just not a universal or even a godly relationship in my way, in my perspective. So yeah, basically what I wrote down: by focusing on myself, I detached from the need to manifest anything and radiated in the frequency of love, as in self-love, right? So that's the end of this video. No, it's not. No, it's not. I do have a couple main questions or things that occurred in my process of manifesting my soulmate that I want to cover in this video, because I personally think it's important to know about that before you start that journey for yourself. So the main important thing is, first of all, once you manifest your soulmate, it doesn't mean that it's gonna be easy and happy all the time, because life is still life, right? So everything around you can crumble and shift and change at any given point, right? Life is still life. The universe has its own ways to work, especially if you want to manifest something within that connection, and something outside of your connection has to shift and change for that to happen, right? Because most of the times, at least what I experience, is once you manifest something new, something old has to go. Like the death card in tarot. That's why I really love this card, because it literally just means the rebirth. Something has to leave your life in order to make space for something new. So just be prepared on that path that some things might seem like they don't work out, or they're exactly the opposite of what you want, but actually they're gonna lead you to what you actually want. Just sometimes things have to fall apart in order to be reconstructed in the way that actually serve you and your manifestations, right? So, just as an example, if you're in a situationship right now and you want to attract your soulmate because you feel like that's not the right thing, you physically cannot stay in that situationship, because if you want to attract your soulmate, there's no space for that person, right? Another thing is, which is the number 2 thing that I want to share, is once you start manifesting your soulmate, and you, at least in the way that I did it, you'll come at some point across people who look exactly the way you want them to be, and they'll even tell you exactly everything that's on the list, for example. I experienced that too. And you will think that it's that person, and you might believe it, and you might see a future with them, but it doesn't feel right. There's something that feels off. There's something that feels like it's missing. It's not 100% hell yes. Like, we are on this channel, on this YouTube channel, we are searching for a full body aligned hell yes, because this is how it feels like. This is like, hell yes, I'm all in, I'm 100% invested, I'm not looking for anything or anyone else, because this is what I want, right? So, sometimes you'll come across people who are, I see them as a test of the universe, but I have a different definition of tests. It's more like a question. It's more like do you really, actually really want what you said you want? Can you actually accept the right and the good thing to happen for you? Or are you okay with a little bit less of that? Or are you okay with, again, some sort of toxic relationship, or whatever, you know? Are you willing to lower your standards that you just set in that list, because the list you wrote down are your new standards for any sort of relationship, right? Because you want to manifest your soulmate, so these are your standards. Do not lower them in the process. The right person will come, and if there's one person who's, for example, disrespecting you, or who just feels bad, or who doesn't give you the feeling that, in the end, manifestation is all about the emotion, the feeling we have once we receive something. So this is why it's so important to connect your emotions to the outcome of the manifestation, because once you can feel it, you can actually receive it. So the point is, do not lower your standards. If there's a person coming across your path, and It's like, it seems to be the right thing, but it doesn't feel right. It's not right. If it's actually a person sent by God or the universe or source, you'll feel it. You'll feel an aligned, full body hell yes. That's what I like to call it. So if you don't feel that, if you don't feel it in your entire body, your mind, your soul, your heart, if you don't feel it everywhere, that's an hell yes. It's not your person. I'm sorry to bring that to you, but it's not your person then. Because you'll feel it. You'll just know with your body. You'll know with your intuition. You'll just know. And if you even question, that's what I figured. If you question if that person is really your person, it's either your nervous system not being able to receive the actual good things, so you got to work on that to reprogram it to receive your manifestations, or it's the person actually not being good for you. It's hard to figure out which one of those two things it is, but once you figured it out, it's very easy to apply that to every test that you come across, because it'll happen again. Probably, much likely. Because I figured the universe likes to test us if we actually want what we want, or if we're willing to give up our standards to get something that's like half of it, maybe a quarter of it. You know, that's what happens. So there was a little disclaimer for the journey, because I wished I would have known that before. So I would have been prepared for yet another situationship coming my way. But well, we all go through that, right? It's part of the process, it's part of learning, it's part of evolving, and part of being human. So I hope you enjoyed that video. If you feel called to manifest your soulmate, if you want to receive more guidance, or guidance on your spiritual path, if you want to find your love and your joy in life, your path of ease and flow, because I do believe that's possible in life, feel free to book the one-on-one spiritual guidance sessions. I have the link in the video description as always, so you can book it right away. I hope you enjoyed this video. I wish you a wonderful time. Bye!